In 2023, a crack commando unit of retro podcasters joined forces on a panel at LA Comic-Con, but were sent to Comic-Con jail for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped. Today, still wanted by 80s nerds, they are very easy to find. If you have an 80s nostalgia problem, if no one else can help, maybe you can hire the Night Boys.
All right, it's 80s Kids Unite. It's July. It's the summertime. It's Bodie's birthday month, and Bodie Schaefer is here.
Hi.
Along with Grace is back. Welcome back, Grace.
Hi, good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're so happy to have you. And Wayne is back. Back, I think, for the second straight episode, right, Wayne?
Yes, I can't believe it. I can't believe I passed. You guys, yeah, I don't know what happened. The ratings must have been okay. The
Officially day for Night Boy. Diallo
The
is
focus
back.
group.
Diallo, is so beautiful to see you in your purple and black Macho Man tee.
Yeah, brother. Freak out, freak out. Look at all the other things he used to say.
And Sleazy C, Corey is here. Corey, what's going on?
What up?
For those that don't know, we have a really good friend named Fern, and every time he would say hi to us, that's how he would introduce himself.
What
What up?
But Vern unfortunately doesn't listen, so he'll never hear it.
No, he doesn't. But little tease later on this summer, well, late summer, early fall, in September, Los Angeles Comic-Con and 80s Kids Unite will be doing a couple panels there. This is an exclusive announcement. Exclusive because
I'm even finding out about it right now.
Yeah,
Me too.
surprise.
Do I need to book my tickets?
Yeah, book your tickets. It's the end of September. More details to follow on all our, corresponding Instagrams. Grace will be there. Diallo, we're going to make him be there. Corey will be there. Bodie will be there. Hopefully Wayne can make it down from Florida. That's a little bit of a trek for Wayne, so we'll see if he can make it or not. Possibly, maybe virtually. Well, he's working on it.
Behind the scenes, brother.
Yeah. But guys, I thought today's topic, Universal Studios, was kind of perfect because when I think of summer, when I think of being a kid in the 80s or now, you think of what, Bodie? When you're in the summer, are you in school or are you on vacation?
On vacation.
So you're on vacation. It's the summertime. And oftentimes families take trips,
Yep.
right? All over the country, all over the world. And Universal Studios in the 80s was a destination landmark.
Yeah.
For so many kids and families. And some of us might not have gone until way later on in our youth or adulthood, but oh my gosh, Universal Studios, it's pretty exciting. When you think of Universal Studios, what do you think of?
I think of like rides and I don't know, like fun like rides and areas to go.
And you go to Universal Studios now, so what are some of the fun rides now that you like to go on?
I like the Harry Potter ride a lot. I like the thrill of like flying.
Whoa,
So-
cool. Yeah. What else? What else at Universal Studios gets you excited?
The Jurassic Park ride is really fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are some really good ones for sure. But last night we watched some old footage of Universal Studios in the 80s.
Yeah.
When we were your age.
Long time ago.
A long time ago. And if anyone's wondering, Bodhi turned 11 this month, the month we're recording. So that was actually the year I went to Universal Studios
Oh wow.
with my brother. And
Back in 1925.
yes, well, it was in dust came out of my elbow when I bent it. Back in my day. Well, who was that, me or you? But I have a feeling some of us actually went to Universal Studios often back in the day. But before we get into that, I just want to read a couple like fun facts about Universal Studios. Universal Studios was created way back when. The first studio tour was actually 1941. No, sorry, 1914. Can you believe that? When a
Wow.
German American immigrant named Carl Laemmle, known for the Laemmle Theaters, bought the Taylor Ranch in San Fernando Valley and founded Universal City as a gigantic studio with its own zoo, its own police and mayor, and Native American indigenous people living on the premises. On March 14th, 1915, Laemmle opened Universal Studios in a 2-day grand opening event with 10,000 attendees. He later invited the general public to see all the action for the admission fee of just 5 cents, which also included a box lunch with chicken.
Good Lord.
There's also a chance to buy fresh produce, and because it was a working farm. This tour was discontinued in 1930 due to the advent of sound films and stages not being sufficiently soundproofed. So, obviously, things have changed. It's made a lot of modifications since 1914. But one thing that has been somewhat consistent over the few decades have been the backlot fires, which have unfortunately destroyed a lot of the fun things that we loved about Universal Studios Hollywood. There's actually been, let's see, one, two, three, four, at least 4 fires dating back to 1932.
Wow.
And the latest one was 2008. Oh yeah, we're looking at like 6 fires now.
I was about to say, wasn't there one the last yeah. I
Yeah.
remember the last one actually.
Yeah, Diallo, the last one was in 2008. It destroyed the King Kong attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, which we'll talk a little bit about today. And but was the rebirth of the King Kong experience with Peter Jackson's help, right? Do you like that ride?
Yeah, you definitely feel like you're in it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Have out of the 6 of us, besides Bodie and myself, so you four, Corey, have you ever been to Universal Studios like Hollywood?
Not Hollywood. Well, I've been there, kind of walked around, didn't do much because I went with some friends or whatever, and this was like, within the last 10 years. But I have been to Universal Studios Japan, and I have been to the East Coast one, and I went as a kid, so I'll be talking about those experiences. But honestly, I've never ridden on, and I never saw the King Kong thing like
Oh, wow.
at Hollywood, at Universal Hollywood.
Diallo, you have though, right? You've been on that ride.
Yeah, I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And it's a
Um
4K experience, right?
I haven't been on I haven't been on the new one. But yeah, the old one for sure.
The
I've
one
only
that was
been
destroyed?
like 3 times. Yeah. Yeah, the one that was destroyed. I remember being on it at least once. Yeah.
Okay, so and Wayne, you live out in Florida, and we will talk about Universal Studios Florida for you and Corey because you
Don't
East
hold it against
Coasters.
me.
We both. Have you ever made it out to Universal Studios in Hollywood?
No, my first experience with Universal Studios Hollywood was the season 6 Different Strokes episode, Hooray for Hollywood. And that was
Nice.
literally when I was a kid and I saw Arnold and Dudley tour Universal Studios and just literally just go through the Jaws attraction that was there and then meet David Hasselhoff and Kit. Like that was, as a kid watching that, I was like, I've got to get to Hollywood and see David Hasselhoff and Kit and Jaws. That was my first Universal Studios experience, but all of it has been here in Florida and kind of going not since day one, but since year one, and all throughout in different incarnations as it exists today.
Wow. I mean, you've never seen Different Strokes, have you, Bodie?
No.
Okay. Well, Diallo can sing you the theme song whenever you
Now
want.
the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some. A man is born. I'll stop.
Well, no, because we got like an echo thing going on. It's amazing. Grace, you probably watch Different Strokes quite a bit back in the day, but I'm thinking you're probably the OG Universal Studios person of the group, right?
Yeah, I mean, born and raised here in LA, so yeah, I've seen all iterations of Mr. King Kong, from the old school to the new. And gosh, yeah, I forget that the old school King Kong is no longer there, but I remember, after I was no longer a kid and still going on the tram ride and seeing King Kong and then like turning around and seeing him, as we leave the space and just seeing him kind of sway back and forth. And it looks like he's wearing like a big black skirt. And I'm just like, he's not so scary after all. Look at him. And then at the end, there was like a photo op where you could like climb into his hand, where he's like
Oh,
kind of like this, and you
cool.
just like climb right in there and you take a photo with him. And I have that somewhere. I've got to dig it out, but from like probably like 88 or something like that, 88, 89. I've got a photo of me in his hand for that photo op. But yeah, I miss old school King Kong. I remember it scared the shit out of me as a kid because he's like rattling, he's like rattling the tram and like shit's going haywire and like electrical things are falling down. I'm just like, oh my God, we're gonna die. It was amazing.
Is he throwing his own feces at you too, like monkeys often do?
I don't think happened, thankfully.
That would be a whole other experience.
Yeah, that would be way scarier.
That would be. It is funny though, like growing up on the East Coast, and never having been out to the West Coast for Universal growing up as a kid to see the King Kong thing. I still feel like I've been there because it was such a part of our pop culture and it wasn't like regional. Like everyone in America knew about it. And I don't know if that's marketing, like is that marketing genius or is it just because it was such a unique thing that it just sort of made its way around? But even though I've never ridden it, I feel like I've seen it. Like I know I haven't experienced it, but I know what it's like. You know what I mean? Just because it permeated the 80s and the 90s so just thickly.
Well, I think he was a part of, it was in magazines, obviously, advertisements, encouraging people to come in Los Angeles. And
Right. So I imagine that was probably all part of a massive like marketing campaign push. Whereas a
yeah,
kid, you don't realize it's marketing, you just think it's like knowledge that you're acquiring.
right. And I think, when obviously everybody were focusing on the 80s, but in the 70s, that's when really the Universal Studios tour was really taking off and was really exciting. I believe they just celebrated the tram tourists last year celebrated its 80th birthday. Was it last year or this year? I'm blanking on my timelines, but has been going on for 80 years, the actual tram tour itself, which has evolved quite a bit.
Yeah.
But if you go back to the 80s, that was like for us 80s kids and maybe even Bodie too. He might be like, wow, it was really great. That was when like the really good stuff was coming out.
Well, it's funny because it was all over TV and pop culture. I think probably because that was probably some of the first synergy going on between companies and Universal companies because it was all over television. When I started looking up, because I distinctly remember the Different Strokes episode, and then I remember there was an episode of the A-Team that they were on the lot. And it was on that episode where you get that in the opening credits of the A-Team where your face man, he's looking at that Cylon passing by him, right? And that scene with Hannibal opening up he's inside the Godzilla outfit, right? That's all from that episode, and it's all in Universal Studios because that also features, the Jaws ride. But Knight Rider, so this is like the weird meta thing. Knight Rider had 3 episodes that all happened in the Universal Studios theme park in Hollywood. And so the weird meta thing is that David Hasselhoff exists in the Different Strokes universe, and Michael Knight also exists in the Universal Studios universe. And so like it's just this weird thing where, Michael Knight and Kit were actually in Universal. There's one of my favorite scenes is he's fighting the bad guy at the end of it, and it's Robert Englund, who's the Freddy Krueger, he's the bad guy in that. And then like they're like fighting while the Jaws shark is like coming at them, and it's like this extra peril, and it's like, I want to do that. I want to wrestle by Jaws, but that's all there because that enticed you as a kid. Even in Florida, I remember 2-page spreads in, comic books and magazines of, wanting to see Universal Studios and them telling you to ride the movies and all that.
Right. Yeah. And in fact, in the beginning of this episode, if you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to Podcasting After Dark's YouTube channel and go over to, $2 late fees and hit the subscribe button on that too. The images of all of us are behind us have this cool Universal Studios image, and one of them for Wayne is the ride the movies and ride the adventure from Universal Studios Florida. But I want to really quickly roll back to King Kong and the King Kong experience with what it was in the 80s, because it's pretty rad. It's pretty rad. The tram, when it's on the tram ride, right? And you would go into this warehouse, and it was supposed to be 1976 New York, where King Kong is on the loose and grabs and shakes the tram, which eventually escapes his grasp and gets out of the city safely. Okay. The King Kong itself was 7 tons and 30 feet tall, and it was the largest, most complex animatronic figure in existence.
Wow.
That's pretty
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Right? This broke new ground and paved the way for all the other eventual attractions. This King Kong experience was featured in the movie The Wizard with Fred Savage.
Yes.
So if you've never seen The Wizard with Fred Savage, you're not missing much, right, Bodie?
Yeah.
See, it's funny because not having written it, I didn't realize it was based on the Jeff Bridges 1976 version and not the original 1933 version.
Yes, Jeff Bridges and I believe
Was it Jessica Lange?
Oh,
Jessica Lange,
Yep,
yes.
yep.
Jessica Lange.
And you know who was in the sequel?
And Charles Grodin was in it too, by the way.
Charles Grodin was in it, but in the sequel to King Kong, it was Kong Lives. I believe Linda Hamilton is in that one.
Yeah, I love that's the
wow.
one I actually watched a ton as a kid was Kong Lives.
Well, if you guys have all listened to previous episodes of 80s Kids Unite or Podcasting After Dark or whatever, we know why, Corey.
So did the King Kong animatronic pave the way for the Donald Trump one in Disneyland?
Yes.
I believe so. Yes.
They both have banana
No.
breath.
They have a Hall of Presidents at Disneyland. Universal, on the other hand, used to have a Hall of Monsters, right, Grace?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember.
They used to have a Hall of Monsters. I remember going in it as a kid.
You know what? I vaguely remember. I have pictures of me and Frankenstein from Universal Studios that I'll show later. But yes, I vaguely remember that. Yeah. Sadly, I don't have any photos of it on me, but yeah.
Amazing.
Is that Frankenstein or Frankenstein? Is it Igor or is it Igor?
So you brought up Wayne, you brought up Kit and Michael Knight, and obviously Knight Rider was around a lot, but you also brought up Battlestar Galactica. And one of the tram tour rides, which it's devastating that it's gone now, was the Battle of Galactica. It was it was a high technology attraction, featured animatronics and live actors in a spectacular laser battle as your tram drove through. We watched a little bit of that last night, right? Bo?
Yeah, it looked really, really cool.
So yeah, transport yourself back to like 1987 or 88. I believe the ride, it was around at that time. We don't have computer animation, all the AI stuff we have now. Do you think it would have blown your mind back then?
Yeah, I think it would blow my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diallo, you unfortunately had not gone to Universal Studios until much later on in life, but do you think
Yeah.
that Battle of Galactica would have been your jam?
I mean, what do you think? I mean, every time I watch,
Sounds like, do you not know me?
I mean, just like Wayne said, every time, A-Team came on, it was like, because at that time, obviously, Battlestar Galactica had been gone for a while. And so every time I saw the Cylon walk across, and even just seeing the Cylon itself was cool, but, having Dirk Benedict kind of give that nod, was like that was enough to, keep me alive for like 4 years just watching that. So, obviously I would have enjoyed the entire experience, and I wish they would recreate it with the old one and the new one.
Yeah, they did a fan fest recently at Universal Studios where they brought some of the more kid-friendly things back, like Back to the Future. You had more of an intimate experience getting to sit in the DeLorean with Doc Brown and Einstein and Marty and recreating the scene where he goes into the future, or well, yeah, from the 50s. And from what I saw, I didn't go there, but it sounded pretty rad. But let's do this. Let's do like a little round table where we go to each person and their own kind of reflections on what Universal Studios means to them or meant to them. Grace, let's go to you first because I think, like I said at the onset, you are probably the wealth of knowledge when it comes to Universal Studios Hollywood. To share your memories and fondness of the theme park.
Well, I don't know about a wealth of knowledge, but I definitely have a wealth of memories.
There you go.
My dad took me to Universal Studios quite often as a kid. I think there was like the SoCal resident discount, going on, and so many memories. I have some pictures of baby Grace with Frankenstein. I'm on the tram, and let me tell you, he scared the crap out of me.
It's
Oh,
creepy. Oh my
yeah,
God.
He
that would
like
scare me too.
came
God.
straight up to my face and
I'm
like
scared
grabbed
now.
it and was like touching my face, and I'm just like, I look very like calm, but I'm like secretly like peeing my pants because I'm just like, oh my God. So yeah, and then as I grew a little older, there's me and my mom and my little sister with Frankenstein on the lot. So grew a
That's so
little
great.
older. I'm like, okay, I know the jig. The jig's up. You're not a real monster. But yeah, I have a lot of fun memories. And then oh my gosh, I have one of people would dress up as characters and kind of roam around the park. There was Beetlejuice and there was like, old school actors like Lucille Ball. Here's me in 1992 with Miss Lucille Ball, if you can see. This
Oh
is
wow.
yeah, at Universal Studios, and this is like a really good Lucille Ball, like as an actress, like just pretending to be her.
Who's on your t-shirt, by
So,
the way? Is that
James Dean.
oh, James Dean? Okay. Wow.
I
That's
went through a
amazing.
huge James Dean phase as a teen, but and of course my shirt. I mean, can we talk about the Miami Vice
Oh yeah.
extravaganza? Is after Miami Vice, it was like Waterworld. I don't. What is it now? Does anyone know what it
It's
is now?
currently Waterworld.
It's
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
Waterworld.
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 Okay, so yeah, this Miami Vice shirt is from Universal Studios from 1984. It's like old
Amazing.
school. I have like a button of Miami Vice, Universal Studios, Miami Vice button. And as a kid, it was just freaking awesome. You see like these cool guys with their sunglasses and their suits, like dressed up and shooting bad guys, and there's like a yacht, zipping by in the water, and you're just like, wow, explosions, and like what a show it was. What a time.
After you've gotten all fired up by Conan's 18th Dragon and fired an incredible photon phaser and roared at the colossal size and strength of King Kong, you're in for another real blast with the Miami Vice Action Spectacular. The Miami Vice Action Spectacular, exploding live at the Universal Studios Tour.
How was it? Dynamite, pal.
And it's great because it's referenced in the new Fall Guy movie because he used to like it's in the movie like he used to work on the Miami Vice stunt show at Universal.
Huh.
That's right.
Well, he would have had to have been like 10.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, exactly. They did they during the
Actually,
Fall Guy
5.
promotion, they did have a Fall Guy, they did a Fall Guy show. They were testing it, I believe, in to replace Waterworld, but it still hasn't replaced Waterworld, which has been going strong
Nothing
since
can replace Waterworld.
no. It's been
Nothing.
going strong
I
since
can't believe
1995.
Waterworld is still kicking.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a minute, but
Wait, I have a news flash. I'm
you got
sorry. I just texted my mom and dad because I was like, did we ever go there as kids? And my dad says, I think we did. Mom may know. I remember being there way back. So if I did go, I was like really, really young. So I've been there, but I don't remember.
we're
So
gonna put you down as you have been there.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
that.
Grace, you
Sorry to
have all the
interrupt.
no, it's all good. Grace, you have all the sweet merch though, and Miami Vice was the motivation for me to want to go to Universal Studios back in the day. And obviously, they didn't shoot the show there, but there was I have a postcard somewhere. I have to dig it up, but it's Crockett sitting at a bar, like smoking a cigarette, and I was convinced it was a photograph taken at Universal Studios. So I carried this around with me wherever I went, and kids were like, you didn't go to Universal Studios, because that's the thing in the 80s. They always like it was always about like claiming you didn't do something, like, oh yeah, well show me. So
And they
anyways,
all talked like that too.
they did. They literally talk like that. Every kid
Yeah,
in
we
elementary
all
school.
did. Yeah.
And so I'm like, yeah, I did. Look, this is a photograph of Crockett at Universal Studios, Don Johnson. And they're like, that's a postcard.
I feel bad for you as
Thanks.
a kid.
Oh,
Sorry, so do all the listeners.
He's my support animal.
Hey, it's what made him who he is today.
It's true. It's true. Grace, you have some great stuff there, but your favorite, did you have a favorite ride at Universal Studios
oh my
back in the day?
gosh. Well, I mean, RIP the Back to the Future ride. I miss that thing every single day. It's now the Simpsons ride,
Yes.
but that might be going away soon too. I have one
For
last picture to show you all. It's on my phone, sadly. I couldn't find the original, but this is me and my sister in front of the DeLorean at Universal Studios. This is probably like 87, something like that.
Yeah, makes sense. Yep.
Because the movie came out in 85, but the movie was going strong years afterwards. I mean, it was such a huge phenomenon. So yeah, it was on display at Universal Studios for photo ops, and yeah, there we are at Universal Studios in front of the hero car. But I miss that ride so much.
Yeah, it closed in 2007, sadly. But
Yeah.
it started in 1993, which is pretty interesting, actually.
I wish I could go on that ride. I feel like that would be like one of the rides I would want to go on.
Oh yeah, you
You
would
would
love
have loved
that.
it.
It featured like the actual actors from the movie too, right? Biff Tannen and Doc Brown, I think.
Doc Brown.
It's
does,
basically
yeah.
Back to the Future 4.
Yeah, and you would get to be Marty. How cool would that be?
That'd be interesting.
If only we could go back in time.
Gotta go back in time.
Sorry. Corey, how about you? What are some, now you did not go to Universal Studios in Hollywood, but you went to the Florida one. And really
Yeah.
quickly, side note, there was a Beetlejuice Rock and Roll Graveyard review. It only lasted for about 8 years, so I'm sure Grace went to that as well. It got replaced by Spider-Man Rocks, apparently.
Last photo. Me and my little sister with Beetlejuice in the 90s at Universal Studios.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
think it's the same actor that still plays Beetlejuice to this
It's
day.
the same guy.
You saw Beetlejuice, kind of freaked you out.
Well, yeah, I was younger then.
It's like, hey, you want to come over? Oh, what's going on? Yeah. All
He's
right.
11 now. He can handle anything.
He can handle aliens, buddy. He can handle aliens.
Get you with your aliens download.
I know. I know.
Corey, no aliens at Universal Studios Florida, but
No, but they had the great movie ride or whatever. So Universal Studios started what, 1990? Wayne, was it 1990 with the Florida one?
Yes, in 1990 is when they opened up, and then some of the rides worked and some didn't. So depending on when you went, is whether or not something was actually functioning.
So in 1990, I would have been 12. I tried to get this information last night. I went with my typical 80s kids. Parents were divorced growing up. I lived with my mom, went to Disney World 1 year with her. She told me I think I was 10 years old for that. And then I went with my dad and stepmom. They've unfortunately both passed away. And I was asking my mom, and I was like, oh, what do you remember when I went? She's like, oh, we had such a wonderful time, you and me. And I was like, okay, yeah, but when did me and dad go? I don't remember. So anyways, we had a wonderful time with you and me. And I was like, okay, thanks, Mom. You don't
Sounds
need
like
to
my
have this
mom.
battle anymore. Like, he's gone. But so I'm pretty sure I was there in either 90 or 91, because I know I was super young. So I don't think my dad tried to go like right when they opened, but I think it just sort of worked out that way. I remember being super excited. Obviously, we went to Disneyland as well. So it was like, or Disney World as well. So it was like a whole encompassing trip. but I remember being very excited for Universal Studios because I was excited to see the giant AT-AT that they had there.
Whoa, from Star Wars?
Wait, was this the MGM?
That would have been MGM.
Oh,
So wait, what was the movie ride then? Is that MGM
That
as
was
well?
also that was also Disney
So
MGM.
I never went to Universal Studios in Florida, and I'm just discovering this now. I've been to MGM, and I have nothing
Corey,
further.
but we had a good
I
time.
have nothing further to add to this discussion. So hold on, though,
Moving
Wayne.
on.
When did? But now I'm curious because I know I wasn't 12. So when did the MGM one? Was that in the
Almost
80s?
spit all over my computer screen.
Dude,
I believe it.
welcome to my life.
Disney MGM, I believe, opened in 88 or 89, and it was in direct competition. It was one of those things where Michael Eisner, that was when he had transferred over to Disney, but he had already kind of heard inklings of them trying to open Universal Studios in Florida because he was at Paramount at the time. They were working on some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, when he went to Disney, he stirred up, hey, let's use some of this land and create Disney. And then it became Disney MGM Studios, which is now Hollywood Studios. But that was the competing thing. And so what ended up happening was they actually turned, movies into rides, which changed Universal's tune, and it delayed Universal's building in Florida because they went, whoa, let's not just focus on the tour now. Let's turn these into actual rides, which is why like Confrontation and E.T. and all those things came out, because instead of being tram stops, they became full on rides and attractions.
Because the Great Movie Ride or whatever it was called, I remember I was excited for that because it had an alien segment, although I was disappointed because it wasn't Aliens. And I think I had seen Alien by that point, so I was either 10 or 11. So I'm thinking it's like, I think we went in like 89 at that point. But yeah, so guys and gals, it was the MGM place that I went to. I have nothing to say about Universal, but I loved the giant AT-AT. I thought it was amazing. So that's where I was.
Well,
see you guys later.
It's going to be great.
Good
Next
talk.
time you're out, let's head to Universal.
But I think Corey, Wayne can save you though, because you're going to live vicariously through what he did when he went to Universal Studios. Florida,
Save me, Wayne, please.
Right, Wayne, save us, Wayne.
Oh my goodness! So my earliest in memories of like going to Universal and all that was quite literally almost the summer or the next fall after they had opened. So like my family would do the occasional Orlando trip. I grew up in Miami, and so I was growing up there, and we would do the trip to Orlando, and so then Universal became basically the other option, because we were doing Disney World and all that so much. So when we went there, I got to go a couple of times with my family, but then the best part was I had quite a number of friends. It opened up right as I was entering into high school, and the coolest thing that can happen like on a birthday is when you get to go somewhere and take a friend. Have you ever had that as the gift?
I literally just did that with his buddies on his birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's awesome. And I got to experience that as the friend. And so it was like, okay, well, you
cool.
could pick one person, to go with you.
You were Charlie Bucket.
Yeah, I was like, right, yeah, I got the golden ticket. And so I would, get to go and experience it. And so Universal Studios at the very beginning in Florida, it was tumultuous because it was like the rides weren't working. A lot of times people would go and, you would pay to go and see basically 4 different rides that were happening in that place, and half of them wouldn't work. And they were giving out refunds and extra tickets like crazy. That's why they even had a deal for a while where it was like, if you pay to go today, you get the ticket for tomorrow for free, because things may not be working. They shut down Jaws, I think 2 or 3 times, and then eventually revamped it altogether because that ride had the same problem as the movie. The shark wouldn't work. And
Wow.
and the maintenance on that, because that shark lived in the water all the time, and so every night they had to do maintenance on that shark, all over and over again. But for me, going at that early stage, it was a lot of fun because it wasn't just about the rides, but they also would do really killer shows. And so my favorite show, it was twofold. You already mentioned the Beetlejuice Graveyard Review.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun. But the Ghostbusters Spooktacular, as a Ghostbusters guy, right? That was so much fun. And they had a couple of different versions of that, over the years where they kind of retooled it and tinkered it. At first, it was just like a stage show where it was like a tour guide kind of giving you a tour of of the set, and then the set got haunted, and the Ghostbusters had to show up, and then eventually became more interactive where as a kid you can come up to the stage and they would make slime and show you slime and like that kind of thing. And I was already in high school at the time and like way above the kid limit, and I wish so badly that they would pick me, like this little lanky guy from in his sophomore year in high school. But like I wanted to do that so bad, but then again, that would get haunted and get busted. And I think those shows really were, the saving grace of the of the experience, because the rides would sometimes not be working, but the shows would be happening.
That's
And that
that's
was
great.
That's a good point. So yeah, I never thought about that. Like as as a kid, I was like, why did they have these like live action shows? But it's an option to have it so that if the rides break down, you have something that's all just people doing things. That makes sense. I never put that together.
I'll throw in a couple here in LA. And a little fun fact I learned that one of the last times we went to Universal Studios, there was a stunt show and a like special effects show where you could be a part of the experience, right? And in Alfred Hitchcock did a commercial for it, which he apparently was very embarrassed about because he was like, "I'm being a shill for Universal Studios." We watched that a little bit where he's falling, right?
He like goes like, "What?"
Yeah, like he falls off a building or something, right? But the director of Wicked apparently was in as a kid, got to be a part of the stunt show at the Universal Studios experience back in the day. But we had the Conan the Barbarian show, which from what I've seen online looks amazing. I believe it was in what is now the Conan show was turned into where is it?
Is it where Terminator used to be? Or...
Yeah, they did like a Terminator thing there. The Adventures of Conan Sword and Sorcery Spectacular got replaced by Beetlejuice Rock and Roll Graveyard, which got replaced by something else. But Brian Thompson, who from Terminator and Cobra most notably, was in that show, and he talked a little bit about that when Dustin and I interviewed him. It's an interesting segment of the interview.
Can I show you guys one last photo? This is Conan, the Conan photo op in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
Oh, amazing.
I mean, yeah, all of a sudden, like, yeah, I've got a bodacious bosom.
Bodie's like,
yeah, that was the Conan photo op back in the day.
That's amazing.
At Universal Studios, yeah.
Grace, can you post those on your Instagram as well?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Grace will be posting those on her Instagram. Links to Grace's Instagram are in the show notes. Highly recommend you check that out.
Well, I was going to say, Grace, like going on the Back to the Future thing, because Back to the Future and Jaws were my two favorite rides. Those were where I would go directly to. And it's funny because theme songs trigger a lot of family memories for me specifically. One of my all-time favorite memories of my grandfather had to do with Back to the Future, which is what made me so sad when it closed, because I felt such a connection. I was really close to my grandfather, and we all went as a family together to go to Universal Studios. And my grandfather, if you knew him, was the sweetest 70-something-year-old Cuban man. Like, he was just this, like really sweet guy, and, hardly spoke English. He knew enough to kind of get by. But he did everything at this park. And so he got on, the Back to the Future ride. And I was like, I don't know, is Grandpa too old to get on this ride? And I was always so worried about him, and we got him on the ride, and he was riding the whole thing, and he went through all of it. And when we got off, I just remember, asking him in Spanish. I said, Grandpa, did you like the ride? And he goes, it was so cute. And I was like, it was so cute. That's not the words I would use to describe Back to the Future, but from there on out, Back to the Future was the cutest ride in the theme park for me. And it always made me smile. And Bodie, you can actually see the footage of the Back to the Future ride now online. You can actually go, and there's some really good versions of that. And I think that, you maybe, if you sat on the couch, and if your dad grabbed the cushions from under you and started shaking them while you were watching it, it might be close to the whole experience.
We can recreate
it.
Might
be close.
I mean, our dog Fozzie looks a little bit like Einstein, so that would count too. So
Oh, perfect. There you go. But yeah, that was the thing for is like, Back to the Future had so many of those memories and Jaws when it worked was a lot of fun, to be on and a little bit different than it was in Hollywood, right?
yeah, yeah. I actually want to bring it back to Corey and Diallo. We're going to get to you because I really want to talk Waterworld with you for a minute. But Corey, you went to the Japan Universal Studios,
Yeah.
right? And I've
Yeah.
seen footage of the Japan Jaws ride
So
experience.
so I have experienced that. Myra and I went to Japan last year, and we went to Universal Studios Japan. We wanted to do the Super Mario Land, but we couldn't get into it. It was like sold out or whatever. But it was still awesome. We did a Jurassic Park flying like pterodactyl ride that was amazing.
Cool.
But yeah, I finally got to experience the Jaws ride, although I was pretty much figuring it wasn't going to be exactly the same as the one back in the day. But it was longer than I thought it was. And Jaws would do like they would pop up in different areas and stuff. And it was actually a lot of fun. I liked it. It did still have the big jump scare, but it didn't look like what my mind pictured. I'd seen so many, videos of from Hollywood and everything. But it was still cool. I really, really liked it. So yeah, that's so I have been to Universal Studios. It just took me going to Japan to get there.
Well,
But
that's
but
okay,
Zach,
Corey.
I am curious real quick. Diallo mentioned the Terminator ride. Where was the Aliens ride? Was that MGM, the one that had like Jeffrey Combs as like a colonial marine in the video and everything? Was that MGM? Was that Universal? I don't even know. And I'm sorry to put you guys on the spot for that.
I didn't see there was never an aliens ride at in Florida.
Okay.
Um,
I'll have to look
trying to
into
think.
that. I'm sure someone's driving off the road right now, being
They're
like,
like, "Bro!"
that was here, God damn it. I was there.
That's what your voice in your head sounds like. Mine is,
Yes. Yeah, yeah, we know.
but let's keep on the water tip. And Diallo, Bodie and I have gone to Universal Studios quite a bit, right, as a family. And whenever we go to the Water World ride, we always shoot some video footage and we send it to Uncle Diallo. And we're like, hey, Diallo's gonna love this. He's gonna love this. But Diallo, you have experienced the Water World ride in person, right? Or the show, right?
Yeah, I think I've been 3 times, and every time, at least during the day, I've gone to the World show.
What does Water World mean to you?
I it's movie magic is what it is.
Why? Tell us, tell us.
I don't know. I saw it back in '95 when it came out, and I just loved it. I love it today. I love, I love the ocean, so that might be like a lot why. I just was about to move to Hawaii, and I knew that they filmed it there. So I don't know, just everything about it. It's like a throwback. It's like swashbuckling. Um, it's a little ridiculous. I actually love the storytelling in it. I think it gets there's a stigma because at the time it quote unquote bombed, but it's more than enough of its money back. But I also feel like, it's you know Mad Max or Road Warrior like in water, and so people like held that against it. But we see that all the time in other stuff. People, Fast and the Furious is a knockoff of Point Break, so it's like just take it for what it is, sometimes.
Yeah,
So
and Fast and Furious is obviously a big hub now at Universal Studios, but
yeah,
that ride has been there, I believe, since 1995. And the fact that it's still going strong is a
yeah,
testament to how fun that show is.
yeah. And like so I grew, growing up the Bay Area, uh, we used to go to Great America quite often, and I remember there were like, um, in Marine World also, they were like animal stunt shows kind of, and
Yes.
it was kind of like not throwback, but it was like you don't really see those anymore. So like going there to see Waterworld is, I don't know, it's cool. Like watching the big airplane come over the top and land in the water, and just the coordination. And I've seen some videos where there were some fails in you know
Should we
and
watch those?
Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
saw one
stunt
like
show
fairly
fails are fun
recently.
videos to watch.
Yeah, it's like they have to stop the show, and then like a automated voice comes on, and the show will resume. Um, I know it's cool. I don't know. Instead of like, I remember going to Marine World, and with the big um killer whales, and you want to sit in the front so you can get splashed. Instead of those, you have the guys on the jet skis trying to get you wet and stuff.
Right.
So yeah. But yeah, the first time I ever went was 2000, and with my ex, and who it was a terrible breakup, but we're friends now. But
Do you need a
uh
support Bodie? Here's a support Bodie.
no, I
There you
said
go.
we actually are
I
friends
feel
now.
your pain.
It's amazing. Anybody that knows knows both of us that we're friends now. It's amazing that we are. But no, that was the first time I ever went. I think Jurassic Park ride, when you said, speaking of wet, that was actually like my favorite thing there,
Oh,
was the Jurassic Park ride.
same.
A huge Jurassic Park fan from the past. Um, and like riding on that ride, it felt like experiencing the show, but the drop is just intense, and I love that part. And like you get wet.
Yeah, that drop is
Um,
amazing.
yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
the
the
drop.
last time I went, I think, was 2007, and that was the last time Back to the Future was there. And so I do remember that being like, I will say it was like magical. Like when they took it out, I was like, why? Like
Yeah.
I haven't seen The Simpsons to replace it, so the Simpsons ride might be amazing. But yeah, I don't know. But like the Back to the Future ride was just like, it was like, why would you take that away? But then also, I think the first time I went, they still had the ET ride,
Right.
and I do remember going like, "What is this?" And that was one that was good that they took away because they replaced it with the Mummy ride. I don't know if that's still there, but that ride was
Yes.
yeah, that ride was amazing. And then I remember going for uh was it Universal Horror Nights? Yeah, and that was pretty fun.
Those are still really fun. Haven't been in a while, but I know that they put on a great show for that.
Yeah. They have like do they have the Backdraft show still,
So
yeah.
Backdraft was
Backdraft.
no back. Uh, so there's a
Wow.
couple rides like Backdraft.
The
Forgot about that
back
movie.
Well, it wasn't a ride so much. It's like an experience. It was pretty
Experience.
intense because like you're inside like this
A
theater or
fire.
whatever, and it's like fire everywhere. It's
Right.
like, yeah.
That got replaced by the Transformers ride.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah,
Have you been
All
on the
right.
Transformers ride, Bodie?
yeah.
Did you
It's
like that ride?
it's fun. I
Yeah.
mean, I think you get motion sickness.
I can't go on any of these
Is
rides.
was Back to Future Ride like one of those motion rides where it's like you're still just staring at the screen, but
Yeah.
everything. So I looked
Yeah.
it up real quick, and the Aliens ride was
It's back to aliens.
it was called well, it would help people who are driving. It was called Aliens Ride at the Speed of Fright, featured Jeffrey Combs, and it operated in San Francisco in 94 to 95. So that was it. And it was
That's
one of those
really-
motion ride things.
That
Just
is-
in San
I
Francisco,
actually
like
kind
it
of
was.
remember hearing
Yeah.
about that now that you mentioned it was in San Francisco.
Yeah. You can find YouTube videos of it online. It's pretty cheesy.
That's
It's
really
pretty
interesting.
cheesy. Yeah.
I will say because Diallo mentioned the Terminator ride, and that was the Terminator 2 ride. Well, it was a 3D experience, and that was replaced by the Despicable Me ride.
So was that one at Universal, the Terminator one then?
That's at
Yeah,
Universal.
that was a
Okay.
pretty cool show.
That was really
Um,
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Despicable one, do you like that show?
No, I don't think it's worth it.
It's a giant screen, and you sit down, and the thing you sit
This
in moves.
seat, and it's like you turned into a minion, but it's like not really that immersive.
It's kind of like Italian brain rot a little bit, where they speak Italian and
Well-
not. No, never mind.
No,
Um,
I'm Rinrat's like Bombadilio, Crocodilio, and Tralalito, Tralala.
The coolest thing that happened at Universal Studios was screening of Angela in the Dark. at Universal.
That was a highlight, yes. And for those that have not seen Angela in the Dark, links to that are in our show notes. You might hear some familiar voices in that, and it's Diallo's motion comic, which is amazing, and everybody should go watch
Corey
it.
is a producer. So
he sure is.
That was fun.
This is in the vein of science fiction, located inside the Panasonic Theater, which I believe is gone now. It was a Star Trek adventure where you got to put on Star Trek uniforms and you were placed inside the sets. And you were basically given your own episode of Star Trek to be a part of. That got replaced by the Flintstones show, but that ran from 88 to 94. That sounds fun as well.
Yes, yes, it does. I'm still thinking about the logistics of having to like have all kinds of Star Trek uniforms for people of varying sizes and everything like that. I was just lost in the logistics of that.
There's some interesting choices that they made. By the way, there was a Creature from the Black Lagoon musical that lasted a year.
Going back to the Star Trek thing.
Yeah, go back to Star Trek.
That one guy who didn't put his deodorant on, that'd be kind of awkward. Just wearing someone else's like uniform.
I mean, they'd have to burn those uniforms after every time.
Diallo's face says it all because he looks frozen right now, and that's
No, sorry. It's the creative mind in me. You said something way earlier. I'm not going to tell anybody. I'll tell you guys offline. But it sparked a story idea, and so I'm way in my head, and I'm like, this could be amazing. So anyway,
it was like a beautiful mind. Did you see all that stuff just come up? And it was just
I was like trying to jot notes down so I can remember like stuff. So yeah.
I think that's actually a good way to start to slowly wrap up. And I also want to go around quickly and go back to Grace. Grace, you're obviously wearing a really rad Miami Vice t-shirt based on the ride. The merch it just doesn't have the same impact that the merch back then did, right? But if you could go back in time, was there something you always wanted to buy from Universal Studios Hollywood that you're like, you never got?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Thinking about it, I mean, there was so much great E.T., Knight Rider, Back to the Future, Miami Vice. I mean, dang it, I'd go back and I'd buy it all. I mean, Jaws. Yeah, so much great merch. I mean, even just like a shirt, from the 80s from Universal Studios is worth a lot on eBay right now. So I'd buy it all. Just, yeah, let's get back into that time machine and have like a portal just to go shopping.
Yeah, I know, seriously, because the shopping now, what they have for their, anniversary merchandise, it's just not the same. It doesn't have the same impact. I will say, if you go back in the archives of like old footage, old photos from Universal Studios, they had the Transformers from the 80s there as well. I don't know what they were doing there and in what capacity. I'm assuming it was more just like, meet and greet type thing. But the fact that they had Transformers there, it's pretty rad. Like Optimus Prime, who looked like Optimus, not like the Michael Bay looking machine thing. And I will also add my little memory, and I've shared it before, and I believe I shared it with Grace because she's a big Tom Atkins fan. When I went to Universal Studios in 1987, I believe it was either 87 or 88. I'm on the tram tour, and we're going through it's no longer there, but it's the Avalanche Tunnel, which was used in the
$6 Million Man.
$6 Million Man with Andre the Giant, I believe, when he was Bigfoot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're going towards that tunnel, you hear someone shouting, "Don't go in there. It's an avalanche. Don't go in there." And my brother and I turn and we see the man, Tom Atkins. You don't know who this guy is, but when you do start watching Tom Atkins films like Halloween 3 and The Fog, you'll be like, oh, this guy's cool. Night of the Creeps. Anyways,
no
Tom
pressure,
Atkins
buddy, no pressure.
No pressure. Aliens, no pressure. Tom Atkins is waving his arms. Don't go in there. Don't go. And my brother Eric and I look at each other and go, it's Tom Atkins. I'm like, what? And you hear the person on the tram driving, there's someone warning us not to go in this tunnel. I don't know why they're saying that. We're just going to keep driving in through and enjoy the ride, everyone. And I'm like, no, that's not some guy. That's Tom Atkins.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
He was probably there to do an episode of Murder She Wrote or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, it was such a wonderful memory. That was probably my favorite moment next to seeing Miami Vice and getting that Don Johnson postcard photograph.
Zach, I was going to
Wayne.
say the thing on the merch, right?
Yeah.
The thing that I remember way back in the 80s and the 90s when it came to, especially at Universal Studios, because Universal Studios in Florida also had the Universal Studios store. And so like you would be able to go in there and see everything. Nowadays, I can go to Target and I can pick up a shirt that says Jaws on it, right? Back in nowadays, I can go to any other store, name brand or whatever, and I can get some kind of logo tee of my favorite property.
Right.
But you didn't really have that back then. Unless you were Star Wars or something, you didn't have the opportunity to just go anywhere. And so when you were a kid showing up at Universal Studios and here you have Ghostbusters logo tees, Goonies logo tees, and all these things from all of the properties and Universal also had licenses from other studios, that they were able to have. You just like what Grace said, I wanted everything. Because I couldn't just, pick, just one, although I never got the Jaws hat with the bite out of it because my dad was like, what is that, half price?
Good man, good man.
Well, that's actually why I stepped away, and I apologize for doing that, because I remembered that I actually bought some things from Universal when I went in 2000 and I still have today.
What do you have? Show us.
So I have these coffee mugs, which I drink from every day. So here's my Justice League coffee mug. You can tell it's old school because it's got Kyle Rayner on it.
Yeah.
Hot
I think
cup
these
of
are by
justice.
I think this is by Brian Stillfreeze, I think. And then, just plain old Superman, whatever. But this is one of my favorite ones. This is like the women of DC.
Ooh.
That looks
Very
like
cool.
Stellfreeze.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those are Warner Brothers properties that you got at Universal Studios.
Yeah, you can tell it's old because I got the little chips on it and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I just like what you were just saying, Wayne. Yeah, like I got them there because at that time I couldn't really get these. Now I probably just go on Amazon and find one. Actually, I have a Marvel cup that like cracked, and I was like, oh, just go on Amazon, just get a new one, whatever.
Right.
But like these are like precious because I always remember like I got these, back then. I'm surprised they still exist, But
Yeah, that's the thing about the merch, that you can get. Wayne, you make a really good point. And Diallo, when you're there in the moment, you're like, oh, I got to buy this. Maybe you can get it on eBay or a knockoff version of it. But back in the day, like to have that thing that no one else could get was really special, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you wish you could go back in time to get?
I mean, I don't think so. I think like
You're not really a merch guy, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm only. It's more of like I'm more of like a souvenir guy, like tiny little things.
So you were really big. Bodie was really big into the smashed pennies, with the logo of something on it, and that was always a really inexpensive option for families to get for their kids. I still have, and I have to dig it up somewhere, the Miami Vice smashed penny, and I believe I gave it to you. It's in your penny collection. Interesting. We're gonna have to
That's
do a
awesome.
follow-up on this.
Yeah, you'll have to show us.
Corey got me a little Waterworld deal from Japan. He got me a couple. The little...
Yeah, those gacha capsules or whatever. When we were, I think they're from the Waterworld ride at Universal. I would imagine,
I'm
but
pretty sure.
yeah, I found those at the little gacha capsule place, and when I saw those for Diallo, I was like, oh my god, there's actually Waterworld toys.
I just readjusted my cabinet with all my figures, and I was like, oh, and I placed them gently, and I was like, oh, I remember when he gave me those.
He's got Mariner. Mariner, where's the Mariner?
Yeah, I don't have any, obviously, any Universal Studio merch, but I will say, when we went to MGM, I still have the thing that I got there, and I cherished it my entire childhood growing up. And it was a board game. It was called Battle for Hoth, and obviously it was Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back, and it was like 2 players, and it was a giant fold-out map, obviously like top-down, like of Hoth, and you could play the Rebels or you could play the Imperials. And they had like cardboard cutouts of like the AT-ATs and the ATSTs and stuff like that. And I played that so much. again, growing up as an only child, living with my dad during the summer times, I learned how to play board games by myself because I was by myself all the time, and I could easily kind of play that one by myself, you know. And I'm like, oh, when I'm the rebels, I'm pro rebel, and when I'm the empire, I'm pro empire, you know.
You might
And
need
there was
a
no
support
like
buddy.
secret, you know, like some games have like secret things that you have to do. So it worked out fine, and I still have that. Dude, it's here. It made it to LA, and then it made it to Oregon, and I still have the original box. My dog took a giant bite out of the box itself,
Oh,
but none of the contents were messed up. So like I still have it with the giant bite out of it. But I remember I got it at the MGM that summer with my dad and everything like that, and I cherished that board game my entire life. I've played it regularly my entire life.
I have this vision of Corey being at MGM Studios and the rest of us all being at Universal Studios. And Corey's like, where is everybody? I thought we were all going to the theme park together and no cell phones existed back then.
I mean, you heard on air. I literally was like, "Wait a minute, that wasn't Universal Studios.
I think
That
we
was
heard a
MGM."
cracking of the brain going on. As we wrap up, I mean, this literally could go on for hours, but what are everyone's favorite memories of Universal Studios, either in Florida or here in Hollywood, here in California, or MGM? Go ahead, throw it in there because Corey already unlocked that or memory, or Universal Japan. You know, like Bodhi has never obviously been to, can't go back in time to that era, but you have been to Universal Studios at least half a dozen times.
Yeah.
And every time we go, there's something we always find that stands out to us. Obviously, we didn't mention everything on the tour. Grace, we could have gone up and down on all the things that are still there versus not there anymore.
We'll have to do a part 2.
We might have to do a part 2, yeah. Or, you know, we'll just invite us. Actually, in a couple months, 80s Kids Unite will be at Los Angeles Comic-Con. All of us, hopefully all of us will be there doing a couple different panels. Stay tuned for that. And if you see us there, you can continue the conversation about Universal Studios and the love we have for, you know, this all sparked from some content I was doing on $2 late fee. It was our love of LA. And a week from now, Grace and I will be joined with Maggie from Vidiots talking about favorite LA 80s movies and this love of Los Angeles, because obviously right now, a lot of stuff going on in the world. But if we go back to the 80s, I mean, LA, there's a lot to love of LA then and now. And let's celebrate all these positive things. And let's celebrate Universal Studios. To your point, Wayne, rides breaking down. The last time we were there, a lot of rides were broken down and there was a lot of construction going on, but we still found a way to find some joy. They don't have the same shows. They used to have a stunt show with the animals there, which was really rad. But we did go to Waterworld, Diallo. We always make time. Every time we sit down, we say, Diallo would love this if we're here. So one of these days, we're going to go with Diallo and Corey and Wayne when he comes out here and Grace. We're all going to go to Universal Studios, rock the 80s merch, and, you know, bring back a little bit of that love, that 80s nostalgia love. So links to everybody's podcast and Instagrams are in the show notes.
YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah. By the way, Bodhi, do you want to tell everybody you're working on your own YouTube channel?
Yep.
What is it?
So, the YouTube channel is called Bedrock Pros.
Bedrock Pros, okay.
And I'm doing it with my cousin Tyler, and it's gonna be about Minecraft. So like, I would like at least 10 subscribers.
Oh, I think you're gonna get more than that. When it's up and running, we'll put the links in the show notes. It may be up and running by the time this episode drops, so check the show notes for that. If not, go to our Instagrams and we will spread the word.
Yeah.
When Bedrock Pros launches, dude.
Zach, you teed up everyone to have their final sort of memory or
yeah.
final
Let's
memory?
go around and Flip City Podcast is Wayne's awesome podcast. Y'all should check it out. But Wayne, final little memories of Universal Studios. Thank you, Corey.
I had a ton of great memories, you know, from open all the way to even now. Plans are brewing for me to get back down there or over there, you know, around the holiday time in December and all that with my family. But my favorite is this. At this point, I'm finally, you know, a dad, and my daughter Emily, she has some disabilities, and you know, it's trying to find a thing that makes her smile and click and get into it, you know, sometimes is difficult, and you try and find the thing. Growing up, I always said, I can't stand Barney. I will never show my kid Barney. I will never, ever, you know, I couldn't stand, oh, this purple dinosaur. Oh, you always don't like the thing that you didn't grow up with, right? And so that was the thing for me. And it just so happened that this beautiful girl clicked with Barney. And much to my dismay, I started, you know, watching it with her, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. My mom is a letter writer. She wrote the production company that puts out, you know, the Barney tapes, and said, my granddaughter just loves, you know, Barney. Just want to let you know. That's all she did. They wrote us back, you know, when Emily was, you know, she's 14 now. So when she was a little kid, 3, 4 years old, they wrote us back and said, "Oh, thanks so much. We're so glad that Emily likes it. Here's some tickets to Universal Studios, and we'd like for Emily to meet Barney." And I was like, "What?" And that's what we did. We ended up going to Universal Studios specifically for my daughter to see the live show of Barney. This is like, you know, going to go see Billy Joel live. This is like going to see Metallica live, right?
Yeah.
For a 4-year-old to see Barney in that time live, I mean, she was like, "Yes." And we have a video on YouTube about that. I'll send you the link, Zach, so that you could share it with others.
Yeah, please.
And you know, she was loving it, and then she got a private meet and greet with Barney and Baby Bop and all these people. And here's this dad that said, "Never, Barney." Boo, crying, hugging this purple dinosaur, going, "You're the best, man." And so for
Aw.
me, Universal always brings me back to family memories that I just click with forever. And so Barney's not there anymore, so it's also a retro memory. But that's just the thing for me, is it always makes me think of, whether it's my grandfather or my daughter, family coming together.
That's really
That should
special.
be the plot of the Barney movie remake, actually.
And then you do a version of the Barbie song, "You're a Barney dad, it's not so bad." Diallo, that's really special, Wayne. Thank you. And go check out Flip City Podcast. And if Wayne sends me that link, I'll link it in the show notes as well, and y'all can check it out. Diallo, final thoughts about Universal Studios?
You know, for me, you know, since I went in my adult years, I mean, I was almost 30 by the time I went. It was for me, it was interesting seeing the sets. It was the tour for me. And it was like the casual things I saw, not like, you know, it wasn't the attraction parts of the tour, but the tunnel with $6 Million Man was, because that's like a core memory of mine. And I think it also was in like Buck Rogers, and might have been, you know, it's been in quite a few different things, but it was seeing like the set of like recognizing a set from Quantum Leap. My most favorite was seeing the set of the Street of Desperate Housewives. That was like peak, you know, peak. Which also I think was the outside set for Leave It to Beaver, I think.
Yes.
That was also the set for the outside set for The Burbs as well. I
Yes.
believe it was that street as well.
Okay. Yeah, I've never watched that, but yeah, that was, and no, and also like going by the offices and seeing parking spots too. I remember seeing like I think I saw like Quentin Tarantino or somebody, like, oh, I recognize that name, you know, for the little bungalows behind.
That's awesome.
Those were like the coolest moments for me. And I went to one seminar there for screenwriting.
Nice.
That was another cool memory. But other than that, I don't have like, you know, I don't have any like deep 80s memories of it. But
Well,
you know,
and getting to show your film Angela in the Dark at Universal City Walk is very special.
that is
too,
true.
so
That is true.
it's very special.
That was a core memory.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Corey, no core memories of Hollywood, but your final
Disney
thoughts.
MGM.
Yeah.
And do not bring up MGM Studios
Universal.
or Aliens in San Francisco.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, honestly, I still remember the giant AT-AT. You know, it wasn't life size, but it was damn near life size when you're like 10 or 11 years old.
Yeah.
And it was amazing at MGM. But
I told you not to bring that up.
But I gotta say, my core memory for that would be my dad The whole trip at when we were at Walt Disney World and MGM, he had one of those giant VHS camcorders. I mean, guys and gals, it was freaking huge. If you grew up in the 80s, you know what I'm talking about. And he took that thing with him everywhere on all the rides. I mean, I don't know where those VHS tapes are now. I think my stepsister has them. I'm not sure. I don't
Oh,
really
you
talk
gotta
to her.
find
So
those. That's
Yeah.
gold.
I would love to. Honestly, I would love to, and then digitize them or whatever. But I mean, I think he recorded almost damn near everything. And I just remember the big smile on his face, walking around with that giant cumbersome camcorder, and I'm just glad I never had to like hold it or anything like that. But he used it on the movie ride and everything like that, video. And nowadays, I don't think they let you videotape, the rides and stuff.
Not
But
like that.
back then there's like, sure, take that giant,
The
what requires two hands, but take it. We don't care. It's all good. So that's kind of one of my biggest memories of that, just that whole time of
That's
when
amazing.
I didn't go to Universal Studios.
I'm going to save Grace for the very, very end because Grace is like, I'm putting you on that pedestal, Grace. Your memories of Universal Studios Hollywood because they're so gold. I found a video game tournament in the late 80s for Universal Studios. I'll drop the commercial for that in here.
Think you're hot at Nintendo?
I'm the best.
Pretty fast hands. Ready to prove it?
Read my lips.
You can enter the Nintendo Challenge at Universal Studios Hollywood and see if you're as good as you think.
Wipe out.
If you're the best in your age group that day, you'll win the grand prize, a Nintendo action set and a $100 Toys R Us gift certificate. Plus, all kids 3 to 11 get one of these free gifts, including hot new games like Super Mario Bros. 2. Nintendo comes to Universal Studios, so bring your best moves.
And that coincided with what you were talking about, Bodie, with your Bedrock Pros YouTube channel, because I'm sure back in the 80s, video game tournaments were so special, right?
Yeah.
It's so cool to go to. But if there was one thing, and I'll bring it back, I started this in the episode as well. If there's one thing you could go back to, what would it be at Universal Studios? After all our discussions, let's wrap it up. What's one thing you would want to go back to?
I mean, just now, how you said that video game tournament,
Why I brought it up.
I'd want to have a go at that.
You want to have a go at that? Yeah, I think you'd be pretty darn good at it too. All right. And then my memories I already shared, so I'm not going to do any more of those. But Grace, wrap us up. What's your favorite? What final memories of Universal Studios Hollywood?
I think thinking back, being a little kid, being at Universal Studios Hollywood all the time as a kid, just that sense of awe and wonder and magic. It's like I've always been a movie nerd, right? I grew up watching these amazing 80s films, and then to be like immersed in that as a little kid, you're just like, wow, this is incredible. Like I get to sit inside Kit and ask him a question. I get to see Jaws hanging there and then snapping at me as we ride by. Oh my gosh, there's the freaking Psycho House, like the actual one. To a little kid, it was just pure magic and wonder. And so it really just I remember the feeling very fondly. And I have all these wonderful photos as a memory too, but I just remember, being with family and all of us just having a blast and just that sense of magic. And yeah, it still is a magical place. We all have memories that we will treasure forever.
That's awesome.
Let's go.
That's awesome. Bodie has some memories. Yeah, I think you sparked a memory in something you said.
Yeah.
What did you want to share?
So, with the Psycho House, I remember it was my friend's birthday. It was my friend's Nova's birthday, and we're all doing the studio tour. And I was like, no, we should do it. It's so fun. So we drive by the Psycho House, and we see like the Psycho guy, and he has like this knife, and it looks pretty real. And he starts walking up to the tram and pulls out his knife, and it's like an inch away from like Noza's face, and I'm like, what?
Did he strike it? Did he try to hit the tram with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
He like came down right by her on the tram
Yeah.
within inches.
Yeah.
And then we drove off and he had it up
Yeah.
because he was like putting something in his car, right?
Yeah. Nova never did that again.
And you're like, I cannot wait to go back on that tram ride again. Tram ride, hands down, favorite ride, favorite attraction at Universal for me nowadays. It still is, especially because I get to live vicariously through my son. But yeah, again, everybody go check the show notes for all our links. Let us know on our social medias, favorite memories. Let us know in the comments on YouTube what you thought of what this sparked, all these ideas and merch and rides and events and et cetera, et cetera. And MGM Studios, fine, go ahead. Thank you, everybody, for enjoying this episode of 80s Kids Unite. Thank you to all the night people, Grace, Wayne, Diallo, Corey, myself, and of course, Bodie. Bedrock Pros, check it out. You're carrying the torch, my friend. And if you want to support Animal like Bodie, let us know in the comments too. We'll get you. All right. Until next time, love y'all and take care. Bye.
Bye.
80s Kids Unite is brought to you by Hungry Hungry Hippos, the loudest tabletop game in history. And by Nickelback, Zach's favorite band. If you'd like to suggest topics for this show, go to the Patreon of either $2 late fee or Podcasting After Dark, or both. All links are in the show notes. We love you.
Oh, listen, I just wanted to say goodbye and remind you that the good guys always win, even in the 80s.